If you guys are tired of smelling musty smells coming out of your drain, or if you have mold in your overflow hole like this one does here today, I'm going to show you how you can very easily remove that smell and that mold and use a product to prevent this from happening again. The products that we're going to be using here is just some regular household baking soda, and we also have some white vinegar. We're going to use this solution here to remove some of the mold and the smell out of this drain. Then back here we have an enzyme cleaner, and this is the ZEP Drain Defense. There are some other versions of this as well. If you're not familiar with these products here, what this will do is if you dump this down in your drain, it will prevent some of this from happening again. And they also claim that it will help prevent some of the clogs. But as far as the smell and a musty odor that you might have in your drain, this will 100% remove that. And technically, we could dump that down in here, let that sit for 6 hours, and that would get rid of our smell as well. But we don't have time here to wait for 6 hours for that to activate, so we're going to be using this to remove our mold, then we're going to be using some of that drain defense to prevent this from happening again. So to get started here, we're going to be focusing on the overflow hole up here because we did confirm this is where our musty smell is coming from. When we look down in there, we can also see some mold growth as well. And 9 times out of 10, if you have a smell coming from a bathroom sink, it's probably going to be coming from this hole. These are designed to prevent water from overflowing out of the sink. It's supposed to go down there instead of over on top of the sink. The problem with this design is it doesn't always 100% allow water to get out of here and go down your drain. And sometimes you have water resting down in there, and that's what's giving you that musty smell, and that's what's giving this mold an opportunity to grow in here. With that said, if you think it's your drain, it's a very similar setup. Just unscrew your stopper, then you're going to dump your solution down there. But we're going to be focusing over here because this is our problem on this sink, so we're going to be dumping our solution down the overflow hole. The first thing we're going to be doing is dump about a half a cup of baking soda out, and this doesn't have to be exact. Then you're going to have to figure out a method to get it down in the hole. There's various things where you can use a funnel to kind of stick it in there, but what I typically do is I just take a household spoon, and this works just as easy, and just kind of dump it down in there. The next thing we're going to be doing here is measure out about a half a cup of vinegar. Then there's various methods again to get this down in there. You can use your funnel. What I've also done at times is if you fill up a water bottle with some of this vinegar, you can easily dump that down in there as well. But now you just want to dump this down in there. You're going to get a lot of foaming like you see there. We now want to let this sit for roughly 10 minutes. Alright, so after this is sat for a little bit, the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be dumping some warm water in there. As you saw there a minute ago when we mixed the vinegar in there, there was a reaction between the vinegar and the baking soda, which is what allowed a lot of that to fizz up in there, and that's what's really breaking down a lot of that material. If you look here, we have a lot of that mold and a lot of that stuff that was down in there. There was so much in there, it was overflowing out of the top as well. So we did confirm that we were able to break a lot of that up just with that solution. So the next thing we want to do is we want to dump that warm water down there to make sure we rinse this thoroughly. To do this, just get a little bit of warm water. We'll put our funnel back down here. Now, this doesn't need to be boiling water. Just get some warm water out of your faucet, and you're literally just going to be dumping it down in there just to help drain some of that out of there. So just do that a few times, then you can come down in here and you can look down in there. Sometimes you have to do this multiple times if there's still a lot of that down in there. Just do it a couple times, but typically you can get away with just doing it one time. A lot of your smell will for sure go away, but if you have bad cases like this, where you have a lot of mold build up in there, just kind of play it by ear on whether or not you need to do it again. But for this one, it looks like we did clear everything out, and I'll give you a close-up picture of the before and after, and there's literally no mold left down in there, so we confirm that we did get rid of our mold, and I'm confident that also got rid of our smell as well. Then the last thing, we'll just run a little hot water up here as well. We'll clean out the sink. We'll just make sure we clearly drain any of the baking soda or vinegar that we have sitting up in here. Then after that, then you're done. To wrap things up, as I mentioned there before, this drain defense is a good product to dump down into your drain holes or your drains on a periodic basis throughout the year. Obviously, this wasn't that hard of a process that we did here today, but this is a lot easier just to dump a little of this solution down in there randomly every other couple months, and it will prevent it so you don't even have to do this. So this product here, I've used it many times. It's relatively cheap. It's only around $10 for this big container here, and you can use it for multiple months. So if you want to prevent this from happening again, check out some of this ZEP Drain Defense. I think you might be surprised on how well that stuff works, not only to remove some of that musty smell, but it will also prevent the smell from even happening to begin with, so you don't even have to go through the process that we talked about here today. So hopefully this helped you out. If it did, please give me the thumbs up. If you're interested in more content like this, please hit that subscribe. But again, I hope this helped you out, and thanks for watching.